Thank you, everybody, for joining us here at Tacen's channel. Just want to let you all know what we're going to be doing with this video series here. We'll be going through company updates and industry updates, answering any questions you guys have. So if you have any, please don't be shy and submit them below. And we will, of course, be introducing and talking to members of the team. So who better to kick us off for video number one than the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Tacen, Mr. Jay Yang. Jay, how are you holding up today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Good. Very glad to get to know you a little bit. And before we dive into Tacen, tell me about your origin story, your beginnings in blockchain, so to speak. And there's always one moment I'm really interested in when it went from, oh, this blockchain stuff seems pretty promising to I'm all in.
Yeah. My background is mixed. I was trained as an aerospace engineer, went to Georgia Tech, and then went to work for defense industry for a few years, about 9.5 years to be exact, writing a bunch of engineering simulation, working on flight sim and all that stuff. Then it's a very small industry. So I've done what I can, and I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to. So moved on to, of all things, e-commerce, then went on to, cloud and IoT, and finally landed at Metal, which is a company that does, wallet integration with crypto. I was director of engineering there. Then finally started my own company in 2019, July. And it all started with my thinking. I've been trading since 2006, various things like equity, options, everything except Forex. And okay, then like what experience do I want to have as a trader? Where do I want to trade, and how did that trading experience impacted the strategies and amount of money I actually lost or won, and so on and so forth. So that got me thinking about non-custodial nature of the exchange that could be really valuable. So that's how I started the company. And regarding the other side, like what was the first spark for interest in blockchain was many years ago. I believe it was I don't know the exact number. People always say I was in crypto since like 2008. Like I always tell them like, yeah, sure, right.
Beginning, yeah.
Right, Brent. Yeah. No, I was a much latecomer. I don't know when Bitcoin was at $4 per Bitcoin, but I had $200 I wanted to buy Bitcoin with, and payment processor failed, so I didn't buy any. So that's my origin story. And then a few years later, exactly, a few years later, 2013, I got really into it again. Like, just following the news. I didn't own anything at the time. I'm like, wow, it's really interesting stuff. And then finally, started to, get into it, like actually having some, Bitcoin, like not a whole lot. Please don't don't come at me. Not it's and then when I started the company, when I worked for Metal, and before that was when I really got into crypto. So like I think everybody's entry point is around 2017, like when they really got excited. Like Bitcoin was at 19,000, and everybody was like, yeah, right. Actually, it was a couple years before for me, but that's around time when, yeah, this really has legs. I can use it to pay for stuff or whatever. And when I started a company, I didn't have an income, so I had to buy everything, by selling off Bitcoin and stuff like that. And it was painful because, well, this was around when Bitcoin was like 3,500, 3,800, but had to be done. And yeah, at least I got to eat, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get to eat. Well, it sounds like you come from a strong technical background, and you kind of got the entrepreneurial spark, or the bite of the entrepreneurial bug, so to speak, there. Yeah. And yeah, I know you weren't in Bitcoin in that early, because anyone I've met who has refuses to do any business because they're done. Their business is done. They're just sitting pretty. But anyway, so here you are today. So how has 2022 went for you so far? Then it's been a pretty tumultuous year as a whole. I feel like it's 2020 part 3 technically at this point.
Yeah.
Like how has it been for you and for Tacen as a whole?
Yeah, this has a different feeling than say 2018 downturn, and 2019, 20 downturn. That's, I mean, we went through now like
Yeah,
three,
it just goes up and down.
ups and downs. Um, I think that this is now like everybody's waking up from like wild party downturn, but they are thinking so with sober like thoughts on what makes sense for crypto to do and what doesn't make sense for crypto to do. Like we're seeing a lot of actual like really hardcore engineering is being done. And I actually feel pretty optimistic. Yeah, I mean like everything's down, so it's not good, but
Okay.
I think that it's providing everybody with focus to say, hey, like what's important, what can we get out there that will be immediately usable by folks out there, and not just as a instrument of financial speculation, right?
Yeah.
So I feel really good actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely kind of parrot that a little bit. I kind of got involved back in roughly 2017 as well,
Yeah.
and the during what I would call the ICO craze.
Yeah.
And the big difference between then and now is, even though yes, there's technically the price is depressed, the markets are down, whatever you really want to call it, the level of infrastructure built in the companies are so much more mature. You have real
Yeah.
companies. During the previous downturns, a lot of things were totally washed out, and they should have been washed out. I kind of want to make that clear. There wasn't a lot of technical know-how to go around and a whole lot of big lofty ideas, so to speak. And you're definitely seeing a lot more ideas that have some strong legs this time around. And that was very visible at Consensus this year. I was at Consensus, and there's still, that was kind of on the way down. And there are still lots of very, very strong and very productive conversations going on about real ideas in which blockchain can influence the world and improve a lot of things. But all right, I digress a little bit. So getting back on track. So you're the chief executive officer of Tacen now. So what does that mean though? Like, what do you handle on the day to day?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? It's loud.
Yes, so you're the chief executive officer of Tacen now. What does that mean? Like, what do you actually handle on the day to day?
Oh yeah. So I mean, one of the things is I actually code quite a bit. So I do code review and work with our engineers on making sure that their code quality and their understanding of the architecture of various things that we build are in line with the product launch plan. I interact with product department in terms of like what is the expectation of a trader, because it's not a very natural thing as a as a person to like have to like understand what exactly is happening in the mind of a trader. So like we want to make sure that we want to build an exchange that's for the traders by the trader, because I've been trading since 2006 and I kind of know all the pain points and lost and won huge sums of money. And so it's a combination of that. So as a CEO, normally CEOs focus entirely on fundraising and like going out there, biz dev and all that stuff. But as a technology heavy company where our goal is to ensure that exchange operates at a top level, like I'm not just talking about like peer level. We want to exceed what we already have. We want to be faster than everyone else. We want to have the best experience. So so I would say about 30 to 40% of my time is actually spent on technical matters, and then the rest on the rest of the stuff. We also advise various different token projects. Yeah, the ICO craze has ended, but the thing is, the fact of the matter is that many good projects have come to us and say, "Hey, how did you do your token offering? Like, what happened?" They want to learn more about it, and we just help them where we can and provide kind of a playbook for them to review and perform on their own. So we have consulting side that I also help with, and biz dev with the larger partners that we may have.
Okay, so it sounds like you spend a decent amount of your time with boots on the ground, or well, how would that play out for coding with fingers on the keys? You spend a lot of time in the trenches with the fingers on the keys. But you're also still handling a lot of the high level stuff. And yeah, the ICO craze may be over. There's still plenty of great projects coming out. I definitely agree with that there. So then I guess what's really the key message you want to get across to people watching who aren't familiar with Tacen about Tacen? What do you think the real key tasty morsel is?
Yeah, I think the key offering of stuff that we're building is this. this day and age, you should not have to deposit your money into any exchange. Doesn't matter what it is, big, small, whatever. And the reason for it is we now have a technology. So our what we're developing will remove the requirements for exchanges to have to take custody of trader fund. So that's the first thing. So immediately I want to like start with the safety angle. Two, because there is no custody, Tacen, when we build our exchange, and basically what we're going to have to only worry about is making the trader experience as good as possible, making the order book as fast as possible. I don't have to work. I don't have the account. I have zero incentive to run away with people's money. And in fact, meaning like, the size of the deposit of client money changes the nature of your relationship with the exchange, like it or not. And money really does change people. What we want to do is we basically are saying only time we get paid is when that order gets matched and it gets matched fast. And so that's our core value. That's what our offering is. And then the open source component that we're building is actually can be used to build. Anyone can build their exchange on using that protocol. So what we call the TXA decentralized settlement layer, and that settlement layer operates on what we call TXA cross-chain settlement protocol, or CSP. So you can think of it like this. Whereas Visa would have payment network that is proprietary and controlled by them, we're now building a decentralized, open source, open architecture settlement layer where any exchange can build on top of without having to worry about what's happening, nefarious things that are happening.
Yeah.
And so Tacen Exchange is going to be one of the exchanges that's going to be built on top of that open architecture, open source layer.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys will not only have a product, but a good infrastructure for other people to build off of. And it sounds like you have a strong focus on the user experience, which is what I would like to call, I mean, love them or hate them, the Steve Jobs Apple formula, where it's you start with user experience and you kind of work backwards from there. And as you said, you've been a trader for a long time, so you're well aware of the pain points. So that's really good. So Jay, I think you did a really great job of introducing yourself. I got to know you a little bit. Appreciate that. But if anyone has any questions, where should they go to ask, and where should they go to dip their toes in the community and maybe ask some questions themselves?
Oh boy. First place to go is our Discord. And there we'll provide a link for that Discord and in the description of the video. And second place is really just engage with us on Twitter. So the Tacen, the company Twitter is at TACEN_APP. That's the official account. And then for Project TXA related stuff, the open architecture, and if people want to get involved, it's the at Project TXA, one word.
Wonderful. We'll have some links for you guys below. And Jay, again, thank you so much for your time today. It's wonderful getting to know you a little bit, and I look forward to recording with you again soon. And thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks again.